Buddhist Principles for a Peaceful Mind, by a lifelong researcher in Buddhist philosophy. In the vast and ceaseless hum of modern existence, the human mind often resembles a turbulent sea, tossed by the relentless waves of anxiety, desire, frustration, and fleeting joy. The quest for a lasting inner peace, a quiet harbor amidst this internal storm, is one of the most ancient and universal of human aspirations. For over 40 years, my own journey has been an academic and contemplative exploration of one of the world's most profound responses to this quest: the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. What I have found is that Buddhism, at its core, is not a system of belief to be passively accepted, but a pragmatic and deeply sophisticated science of the mind, a practical methodology for understanding the nature of our own consciousness and, through that understanding, cultivating a peace that is not dependent on the ever-changing circumstances of the external world. This is not a path of bypassing life's difficulties or retreating into a state of apathetic indifference. Rather, it is a path of courageous engagement, of looking directly at the causes of our mental dis-ease and systematically applying timeless principles to transform suffering into wisdom and agitation into tranquility. The peace the Buddha spoke of is not a fragile state that is shattered by the first sign of trouble. It is a resilient, deep-seated quality of being that is nurtured from within. This article will serve as a comprehensive guide to these foundational principles. We will begin by exploring the Buddha's core diagnosis of the human condition, the Four Noble Truths, which lays the groundwork for all that follows. From there, we will journey through the practical blueprint for mental cultivation known as the Noble Eightfold Path. Organized into its three essential trainings, we will delve into the profound insights of the three marks of existence, which revolutionize our perception of reality itself. Finally, we will illuminate the central, indispensable practice of mindfulness and the transformative heart practices known as the Four Divine Abodes. This is a map, drawn from the accumulated wisdom of 2.600 years, to the quiet stillness that lies at the very center of our being. Section 1. The Foundational Diagnosis, the Four Noble Truths. The very first sermon the Buddha delivered after his enlightenment was not a grand metaphysical discourse, but a strikingly direct and practical diagnosis. Much like that of a master physician, he presented his findings as the Four Noble Truths, a framework that serves as the bedrock of all Buddhist thought and practice. To understand these truths is to understand the problem and the potential for a cure. The first noble truth, the truth of dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. The first truth is often translated as, life is suffering. This translation, however, is incomplete and can lead to the pessimistic misconception that Buddhism is a life-denying philosophy. The Pali word, dukkha, has a far more subtle and comprehensive meaning. While it certainly includes the obvious suffering of physical pain, sickness, old age, and death, as well as the mental anguish of grief, sorrow, and despair, it points to something deeper. Dukkha is the pervasive, underlying quality of unsatisfactoriness, stress, and subtle dis-ease that characterizes all conditioned existence. The Buddha identified three distinct levels of dukkha. Dukkha dukkha, the dukkha of pain. This is the straightforward suffering we all recognize: physical pain from injury, emotional pain from loss, the sting of failure, the frustration of not getting what we want. Viparinama dukkha, the dukkha of change. This is the suffering caused by the impermanence of all things. Even our most pleasant and joyful experiences are fleeting. The happiness we derive from a beautiful sunset, a loving relationship, or a great achievement is temporary. The subtle anxiety that this happiness will end, and the actual pain of its passing, is a form of dukkha. We suffer not because the experience was bad, but precisely because it was good and it did not last. Sankhara dukkha, the dukkha of conditioned existence. This is the most profound and subtle level. It refers to the inherent unsatisfactoriness of being a self that is a composite of constantly changing physical and mental components, the five aggregates. There is a background hum of existential tension that comes from our dependence on conditions we cannot control and from our fundamental ignorance of the true nature of reality. Acknowledging the truth of dukkha is not an act of pessimism but one of profound realism and courage. It is the first step toward healing. A physician cannot treat a disease until the patient acknowledges they are sick. By fully and honestly looking at the nature of our dis-ease, we open ourselves to the possibility of a cure. The second noble truth, the truth of samudaya, the origin of dukkha. Having diagnosed the illness, the Buddha identifies its cause. The origin of our suffering, he taught, is not an external agent or a capricious God, but an internal one, tanha, in Pali, which translates as thirst, craving, or grasping. It is this deep-seated, relentless impulse to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and to establish a solid sense of self that fuels the fires of our discontent. Tanha manifests in three primary ways. Kama tanha, craving for sensual pleasures. This is the desire for pleasant experiences through our six senses, including the mind. We constantly seek out sights, sounds, smells, tastes, textures, and thoughts that we find agreeable, believing they will bring us lasting happiness. Bhava tanha, craving for existence and becoming. This is the deep desire for our self to continue, to become something more, to achieve status, and to leave a mark on the world. It is the ego's thirst for self-preservation and self-aggrandizement. Vibhava tanha, craving for non-existence. This is the desire to get rid of what is unpleasant. It manifests as aversion, hatred, anger, and the wish to annihilate a painful feeling, a difficult situation, or even the self in moments of deep despair. This thirst is born from a fundamental ignorance, avijja, of the way things truly are, specifically our ignorance of their impermanence. We grasp at fleeting pleasures as if they were permanent, and we react with aversion to fleeting pains as if they were a permanent threat, thus perpetuating the cycle of suffering. The third noble truth, the truth of nirodha, the cessation of dukkha. This is the truth that offers profound hope. It is the Buddha's prognosis: there is a cure. The cessation of suffering is possible. This state of cessation is called nirvana, nibbana in Pali, which literally means to extinguish or to blow out. What is extinguished are the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion that are fueled by craving. Nirvana is not a heavenly realm one goes to after death, nor is it a state of annihilation. It is a state of supreme and unshakable peace, freedom, and clarity that can be realized in this very life. It is the mind's natural state, uncovered when the obscurations of craving and ignorance are removed. It is the end of the compulsive cycle of chasing pleasures and fleeing pains. A state of profound well-being that is not dependent on external conditions. The fourth noble truth, the truth of magga, the path to the cessation of dukkha. The final truth is the prescription. The Buddha did not just state that a cure was possible, he laid out a clear, systematic, and practical path to achieve it. This path is the Noble Eightfold Path. It is a comprehensive program of personal development that encompasses every aspect of our lives, leading directly to the cessation of dukkha and the realization of a peaceful mind. Section 2. The Practical Blueprint, the three trainings of the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path is not a linear sequence of steps to be mastered one after another. Rather, its 8 factors are to be cultivated simultaneously, as each one supports and strengthens the others. For clarity, they are traditionally grouped into 3 essential divisions or trainings. 1. The training in ethical conduct, sila. A peaceful mind cannot be built on a foundation of harmful action. Sila is the practice of purifying our verbal and physical actions to create a life of integrity and harmlessness. This is the essential groundwork for deeper mental training because it removes the coarse mental agitations of guilt, remorse, and fear. Right speech, samavaka, abstaining from lying, divisive speech that sets people against each other, harsh or abusive speech, and idle chatter that pollutes the mind with triviality. Instead, we cultivate speech that is truthful, kind, harmonious, and meaningful. Right action, sammakamanta, abstaining from harming living beings, killing, taking what is not given, stealing, and sexual misconduct. We cultivate actions based on kindness, generosity, and respect. Right livelihood, samma jiva, engaging in a profession that does not cause harm to oneself or others. This means avoiding work that involves deception, exploitation, or dealing in weapons, intoxicants, or poisons. By living ethically, we create an external environment of peace and an internal environment free from the corrosive effects of regret. the mind naturally becomes calmer and more settled, ready for the deeper work of meditation. 2. The training in mental discipline, samadhi. With the foundation of ethical conduct in place, we can begin to train the mind directly. Samadhi is the cultivation of a focused, stable, and unified consciousness. A scattered, distracted mind, what is often called the monkey mind, is a primary source of our inner turmoil. This training brings the monkey mind to heel. Right effort, samma vayama. This is the energetic and joyful application of will. It involves 4 key practices: preventing unwholesome states, like anger or jealousy, from arising, abandoning them if they have arisen, cultivating wholesome states, like kindness or focus, that have not yet arisen, and maintaining those wholesome states that are already present. Right mindfulness, samma sati. This is so crucial it will be explored in its own section. It is the practice of maintaining a clear, non-judgmental awareness of our present moment experience. Right concentration, samma samadhi. This refers to the development of deep, one-pointed concentration through formal meditation practice. As the mind settles, it becomes powerful, lucid, and capable of penetrating insight. It moves from a state of chaotic distraction to one of serene stability. This training tames the wild energy of the mind, transforming it from an unruly master into a serviceable tool for the cultivation of wisdom. 3. The training in wisdom, prajna. Wisdom, or prajna, Pali, panya, is the ultimate antidote to the ignorance that lies at the root of suffering. It is not mere intellectual knowledge but a direct, experiential insight into the true nature of reality. Right understanding, samma ditthi. This begins with a conceptual understanding of the core teachings, like the 4 noble truths, but ultimately matures into a direct seeing of reality as it is, impermanent, unsatisfactory, and devoid of a solid self. Right intention, samma sankappa. This involves aligning our motivations with our understanding. It means cultivating intentions of renunciation, letting go of clinging, of loving kindness, goodwill towards all, and of compassion, harmlessness. Wisdom is what cuts through the delusions that fuel our craving. When we truly see that grasping at impermanent things is futile, the grasping naturally begins to cease. Section 3. The 3 marks of existence, seeing reality as it is. The wisdom component of the path is centered on directly perceiving 3 fundamental characteristics of all conditioned phenomena, known as the 3 marks of existence or tilakkhana. A peaceful mind is not achieved by creating a pleasant fantasy world, but by courageously aligning our perception with reality. 1. Impermanence, anicca. This principle states that all things, without exception, are in a constant state of flux. Nothing is static. Our bodies are changing with every breath. Our thoughts and feelings are a ceaseless parade. Relationships evolve, societies transform, and even mountains eventually wear away. We suffer when we resist this universal law, when we try to hold on to pleasant experiences or push away unpleasant ones as if they were permanent fixtures. Practical application. The practice is to observe impermanence everywhere, in the great and the small. Watch a cloud move across the sky. Notice a thought arise and dissolve in your mind. Feel the fleeting nature of a pleasant taste. By repeatedly observing change, we train the mind to let go of its attachment to stability. We learn to flow with the river of life instead of trying to build a dam in it. This acceptance of change brings enormous peace and reduces our anxiety about the future. 2. Unsatisfactoriness, dukkha. As discussed in the first noble truth, this is the principle that relying on impermanent, conditioned things for our ultimate happiness is inherently frustrating and stressful, because nothing can provide lasting satisfaction. The mind that constantly seeks it is doomed to a state of perpetual restlessness. Practical application. When experiencing a pleasant moment, notice the subtle desire for it to last. When experiencing an unpleasant moment, notice the intense desire for it to end. See this constant push and pull within your own mind. This is not about ceasing to enjoy life's pleasures, but about enjoying them with a wise understanding of their nature, without the desperate clinging that turns joy into a source of future pain. 3. Non-self, anatta. This is often considered the most profound and liberating of the Buddhist teachings. It states that there is no permanent, independent, unchanging self, soul, or I at the core of our being. What we call the self is, like everything else, an interdependent process, a temporary collection of the five aggregates: form, the body; feelings, perceptions, mental formations, thoughts, intentions, and consciousness. Practical application. This is investigated in meditation by observing our experience. We look for the I, who is thinking the thoughts and feel the feelings. Where is it? Is it in the body? Is it the thoughts themselves? The more we look, the more we realize that there is no static owner of the experience. There is just the experience itself, arising and passing away. This insight is incredibly freeing. If there is no solid self to defend, who is there to be insulted? If there is no permanent self to aggrandize, what is the basis for pride? Most of our mental turmoil, our worries about reputation, our anger at being slighted, our fear of death, is rooted in this mistaken identification with a solid self. As this illusion begins to dissolve, so too does the suffering it creates. Section 4. The Art of Awareness, the Central Role of Mindfulness, Sati. If there is a single practice that ties all these principles together, it is mindfulness, Sati. It appears as the seventh factor of the Eightfold Path, but it is the very heart of the entire training. Mindfulness is the capacity to pay attention to the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. It is a clear, unbiased awareness of what is happening, both in our inner world of thoughts and feelings and in the outer world. As it happens, what mindfulness is not, it is not a state of blissful trance. Nor is it an attempt to empty the mind of thoughts. It is not a complex intellectual analysis. It is a simple, direct, and gentle observation. The function of mindfulness, its primary function is to create a space between a stimulus and our habitual, conditioned reaction. For example, someone cuts you off in traffic, stimulus. The habitual reaction might be a surge of anger and a litany of internal curses, reaction. With mindfulness, we can notice the initial feeling of irritation arising before it escalates into full-blown anger. We can feel the heat in the body, observe the angry thoughts, and simply watch them without having to act on them. In that moment of observation, we have a choice. We can choose not to pour fuel on the fire. This power of choice is the beginning of freedom. How to practice mindfulness. Formal practice, meditation. Set aside a dedicated time each day to sit quietly. Bring your attention to the physical sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. When your mind wanders into thoughts, plans, or memories, which is completely natural, gently and kindly notice that it has wandered, and then guide your attention back to the breath. This is not a battle with your thoughts. It is a gentle training in returning to the present moment again and again. In formal practice, mindfulness in daily life, integrate this awareness into your everyday activities. When you wash the dishes, just wash the dishes. Feel the warmth of the water, the texture of the sponge. When you drink a cup of tea, fully experience the aroma and the taste. When you are listening to someone, give them your full, undivided attention. By anchoring ourselves in the reality of the present moment, we spend less time lost in the anxiety-producing fantasies of the future and the regret-laden stories of the past. Mindfulness is the tool that allows us to see the three marks of existence directly in our own experience. It is the steady flame that illuminates the path. Section 5. The cultivation of the heart, the four divine abodes, Brahma-viharas. A peaceful mind is not merely a calm mind, it is also a warm and open heart. The Buddha taught specific practices to systematically cultivate positive, wholesome emotions. These are known as the four divine abodes or Brahma-viharas, and they are the perfect antidotes to the states of mind that cause us and others the most pain. 1. Loving kindness, metta. Metta is the sincere, unconditional wish for all beings, including oneself, to be happy and well. It is the antidote to hatred, ill will, and anger. The practice involves silently repeating phrases of well-wishing, starting with oneself, e.g., may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, then extending this wish to loved ones, neutral people, difficult people, and finally to all living beings without exception. This practice softens the heart, dissolves resentment, and fosters a sense of profound connection. 2. Compassion, karuna. Compassion is the heart's response to suffering. It is the sincere wish for all beings to be free from their pain. It is the antidote to cruelty and indifference. When we see someone suffering, instead of turning away, We turn towards them with a heart that says, "May you be free from this suffering." This practice includes compassion for our own struggles and failures. It moves us from a place of harsh judgment to one of tender understanding. 3. Sympathetic joy, mudita. Mudita is the practice of taking joy in the happiness and good fortune of others. It is the direct antidote to envy and jealousy, which are potent sources of mental poison. When we hear of someone else's success, instead of feeling a pang of inadequacy, we can train ourselves to feel genuine happiness for them. This practice multiplies our own opportunities for joy 1,000-fold, as we are no longer limited to celebrating only our own successes. It creates a deeply connected and generous spirit. 4. Equanimity, upekkha. Equanimity is the crown jewel of the four. It is the state of profound balance, stability, and non-reactivity in the face of life's constant changes. It is the ability to meet pleasure and pain, gain and loss, praise and blame with an even and peaceful mind. It is born from a deep, wisdom-based understanding of impermanence and non-self. This is not a cold indifference, it is a spacious and loving acceptance of reality as it is. It is the wisdom that understands we cannot control everything, but we can bring a peaceful heart to every experience. Conclusion: the active cultivation of peace. The Buddhist path to a peaceful mind is not a passive process of waiting for tranquility to descend upon us. It is an active, engaged, and lifelong process of training and transformation. It begins with the courage to look honestly at our own suffering and its causes. It unfolds through a commitment to ethical living, which calms the waters of our life, and a dedication to mental discipline, which stills the waves of our mind. It is deepened by the cultivation of profound wisdom, which allows us to see the world not as we wish it were, but as it truly is. And it is brought to life through the moment-to-moment practice of mindfulness and the boundless warmth of a compassionate heart. These are not articles of faith to be believed, but principles to be explored, practiced, and verified in the laboratory of your own experience. The peace that Buddhism points to is not a distant goal, but a present possibility. It is the natural state of a mind that has let go of its burdens. A mind that has come home to rest in the clarity, stability, and quiet joy of its own true nature.